Welcome, everyone. We're excited for today's presentation. My name is Manuel Ceballos. I'm actually the Senior Account Executive here at Outbuild that heads up the Northeast region of the territories. And today I'm going to be helping kind of give an overview of Outbuild and how we've helped other general contractors and, kind of what we're doing in the industry. With me today are my colleague, Brittany, and one of our customers, Eric Weatherwax from BBL. And so I'm going to let them introduce themselves and talk a little bit about, on their behalf. Brittany.
All right. Thank you, Manny. My name is Brittany Evans. I am the Senior Customer Success Manager for the East Coast. So I am onboarding and training all of our clients from Northeast to Southeast. I've been with Outbuild almost 2.5 years now. It's crazy to even say that. I will be also overseeing the Q&A. If there's any technical questions that you have, feel free to enter those and I'll be able to answer those either live or I will help Alex with the Q&A responding in chat as well. But looking forward to this conversation.
Beautiful. Eric.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Eric Weatherwax with BBL Construction Services. I am a project executive by day and I would say on the operations department by night. Aside from the obvious tasks that come along with a project executive, day-to-day project operations, I also oversee all of our innovation, implementation, and procedural operations components for technology and tools that we use. A bit about BBL. We're headquartered in Albany, New York, but we do work nationally. We're out as far west as Arizona at the present time. We've been in business about 52 years. We're a general contractor, primarily operating in the design build private world. We work in pretty much all markets that involve a vertical build. And as far as ACV, we operate in a sweet spot of anywhere between $400 and $500 million annually.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Any projects or anything that you want to promote that's upcoming or kind of you guys are currently working on that you want to talk about?
Nothing specific. We have so many of them. Like I said, we're a pretty diverse company. We kind of do everything, but we're on 100 projects a year, so it's kind of hard just to pick one to spotlight.
No, fair enough, fair enough. So why don't you maybe walk us through kind of what led you to Outbuild? What was your process like before? What scheduling tool were you using? What was your field using for planning, look ahead? And what impacted you to want to speak to Outbuild? And also, how did you hear about Outbuild? That's the big one too, right?
Yeah, so I think we first heard about Outbuild. It was previously under a different name before we got involved, ProPlanner. But we first heard about them at a trade show, Procore trade show, the Groundbreak annual conference that they put on. Came across them on the conference floor, liked what they had to offer, and kind of dove in from there. I think it was actually just around COVID, maybe pre-COVID, where we first started trialing it. Liked what we saw, and then COVID obviously hit and things fell off the radar. But once we got our bearings and feedback under us after that monstrosity that hit the industry, we were able to dive back in. I think it was around 2022, 23 when we really kind of dove headfirst and started using it, globally across the company. The real reason why we were looking for a new scheduling software was mainly because what we were using was antiquated and lackluster, in terms of what was out there available on the market today. Don't want to knock the tools because they were once best in class, but Suretrak was what we primarily used. That was kind of our go-to. A few of us would dabble in Microsoft Project and then on our more complex projects into P6. Very few projects were on P6. And we really wanted to take all three of those and combine them into a software that could be flexible and work for everybody. We didn't want to be kind of all over the place. We wanted to create a level of consistency amongst all of our projects. Diving into our search for scheduling software, we had a couple needs, but first and foremost, we needed something that was intuitive. something that offered a simple, user interface or user experience, all while allowing us to, do robust and complex schedules, within the software. We have, again, we're very diverse. We do everything from, the design and pre-con all the way through the completion. So we're doing simple schedules, from just planning and project pre-plan, whether it's permitting or design, all the way through to the full, project schedule, the master schedule. So we needed something that kind of ticked all those boxes, but yet was user friendly and easy to use.
Thank you. That's really helpful. And you're right. The tools that you were using, it's, nothing wrong and nothing bad. It's just what you all were given, and that's what you had to do to work with. And so, I think to your point, this is why, Outbuild was created. Is, we really did a lot of research before we came out with Outbuild, and we knew that companies were struggling with that outdated software that you mentioned as well, multiple ones, right? To help coordinate with schedule and planning. And so what we hear all the time happen is when you're using one thing for scheduling like MS Project or Suretrak in your point, or P6, it's great, but then what happens is there's a disconnect between that office and then the field, because your field crew then has to use something different, like either Excel, whiteboards. If you guys are following that pull planning, last planner kind of method, then they're doing the sticky notes. And so that creates that disconnect, because now we're kind of relying on hope, right? That they're referencing those milestones. So I know to a lot of people in the audience, this might actually bring a lot of relation here. Is going, hey, that looks like our job trailer. So I hope it does, because this is what we hear all the time, right? That it's very, very similar, and this is what's going on. So with Outbuild, what we did is we said, hey, we know that there's a struggle between that disconnect. We need to find a way to bridge that gap. And so what we did is create one schedule in Outbuild that you will be able to replace whatever tool you're using, whether it be MS Project, whether it be P6, SureTrack, or Asta. You can create a schedule the way you need it to, without all the hundreds of different little features or little buttons that you have on there that wasn't designed for the construction industry individually. And with Outbuild, you have a CPM schedule that you can build, with, logic, predecessors, etc. So everything's there that you need it to do. But the big thing is that look ahead and that planning is also done in Outbuild. You're not having someone else use a separate siloed system. It all ties into the master schedule, and it always will be referencing that milestone. So that's where that is now connecting together, because this dark blue line here is referencing the goalpost for those subcontractors and the superintendents, that ties into the activity that is in the master schedule. So I know that a lot of general contractors that we talk to on a daily basis always let us know, yeah, well, we are pretty active when it comes to meeting with our teams, but there definitely is that disconnect. So we're always trying to help. This is going to bring you a web-based tool that is unlimited users. It has unlimited projects you can have, and it also even has a portfolio view where you're able to glance at all projects at once. But one of the biggest feedbacks that we get from a lot of our customers, and I think, Eric, you talked about that earlier, is the ease of use, right? Being able to use this, because that's the big concern from a lot of general contractors is, hey, we don't know if our subs are going to use it. We don't know if our superintendents are going to use it. So we created this to make it very easy and help collaborate with those partners. So for those of you that are in the webinar today, if you have any of your crew using iPads, they're going to be able to pick up Outbuild on that iPad app and be able to walk through the field and do daily progress updates from that iPad, which is going to help then show that progress in the task on the look ahead and update the activity as well. But the other thing that you'll be able to do is create a roadblock. We always know that there's things that are happening in construction, changes on a daily minute, by the minute, by the hour. And so it's nice to be able to have a way to just quickly say, hey, inspector actually hasn't showed up. I can't complete this task until this thing happens. And so now there's a way in Outbuild where your superintendent and your subcontractor will be able to notify the project management team and let them know that in order for you to finish that task, they need to get ahead of that roadblock. So the other thing with Outbuild is for those of you that are using Procore for project management, is you're going to have the ability to sync your submittals and your RFIs, and they're going to tie directly in to your master schedule in real time. So no more having to, again, manually export that information and then uploading it to Procore, or having to actually use a procurement log on Excel to track all those long lead times. Now you can all do it from Outbuild and it connects directly. So yeah, as you're looking down here, and I'll share that in the demo in just a moment, but these little icons next to the activities indicates the submittals that you have tied into those activities. And one thing that we're really excited about that's going to be coming to a theater near you is Autodesk integration, and we're working on getting that launched here pretty soon. So I know the team is happy about that, and a lot of our customers are asking about that as well. But just out of curiosity, Eric, I know, I spoke a little bit about these things here. How do you feel these kind of things have impacted you all so far with the way that this how now connects together?
It's been great for us. Even though we've adopted this, back a year and a half, 2 years ago, we are still kind of in the beginning stages of kind of rolling this out to every project and encouraging use. But every project we see using this to its fullest potential has been a tremendous help. You asked me to hit on some of my challenges early on. It was really too much to rattle off to begin with, but one of the things, and you hit on it in the previous slide, is access to the scheduling tool. In a world prior to Outbuild, our superintendents really didn't have access to it other than a printed copy that you'd bring to a job meeting. So one of the things that Outbuild is able to do is exactly that. A schedule is done in Outbuild. It can be accessed from anywhere at any time. It's not stuck on an on-prem server. It's web-based, so supers can log in from their computer. They can log in from the mobile app, and they have insight to the schedule. And not only is it insight, they have the ability to perform their look-aheads and pass that information back to a project management team to integrate it into the master schedule. So that was a challenge we wanted to capture and address, and I think Outbuild's done a great job at that. The other thing is, and you hit on this in that picture, the ideals of lean principles on a project. None of the previous scheduling softwares that we've used or anything that was out there really did a great job of capturing those principles. And we're not a full-blown lean contractor, but we do practice the principles, and in a lot of our meetings and our schedules, we'd like to use those. And Outbuild was really one of the only tools that offered something like that. And like you said previously, it was sticky notes on a board. It was a series of whiteboards with dates and constraints. And you can kind of build all that into your schedule now with the look ahead and the roadblocks, and it just kind of becomes all in one. And it's a really good hybrid approach for somebody like us that really isn't doing a full blown pull plan. It's a good mix of the two. The other thing I wanted to make mention of is, and again, you hit on this a little bit, the integration capabilities. There's so many different ways you can use that. There's a lot of other softwares out there that integrate with Procore or Autodesk soon to be from a scheduling perspective. But I don't know if there's anything in this capacity where you can, tie submittals and RFIs as roadblocks and various things. It adds another layer of things that somebody like me never really thought about until you guys make it possible.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. And it's really important to understand that, um, you know, you don't really see that until you actually kind of try something like Outbuild, where you realize those are the challenges that you're facing. So, it wouldn't honestly be Outbuild if it wasn't for our support team. And I'm so excited that Brittany and the support team is on the call today. And I just want to maybe have her shed some light on what that onboarding process looks like, what kind of support you're going to get with Outbuild. So, Brittany.
Thank you, Manny. So, what is really cool about Outbuild, what I like, is that the onboarding process actually starts even before you join Outbuild, when you are still kind of vetting Outbuild as your software of choice. your account executive, like Manny, they will actually gather your pain points and come up with a mutual action plan. This mutual action plan is kind of like my framework for when I actually onboard your team. So before you even meet me, I will already know your team's struggle, why you came to Outbuild, the I guess the KPIs of, how I can judge if I've been a successful um, uh, customer success manager. So I like that I kind of have a framework to go off. Once you are in my hands and I start the actual onboarding process, we have virtual trainings where we break out the platform into very easy, digestible segments, starting with the master schedule. Then we'll go into the look ahead where we get more of the field team involved. But every step of the way, we allow for customization of those trainings. What parts of the platform do you want me to dive deeper into? And not only the virtual trainings, we also have live support, which you don't see in most platforms. So we have a live chat that is monitored by the success team. It's not an animated bot. So you do get to chat with someone like myself anytime you're in the platform for immediate assistance. And then my personal favorite, we do also offer in-person training. So I see this being beneficial, especially at the superintendent level, to get their buy-in. Me actually coming out there to the field, speaking with them, showing them, so they can actually get their hands on it. If they're utilizing iPads, walk them through the iPad app. I've been all over the last this quarter specifically. I've gone to I think 8 different teams so far, and it's my favorite part of what I do. Mm.
That's
I'll wrap it up
awesome.
now.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. No, I appreciate that. And I'm Eric, and I don't know if you want to shed any light on your experience and what it's been like getting onboarded with Brittany and her team.
Yeah,
If you maybe want to talk a little bit about that.
for sure. Yeah, it's hands down a great experience. I don't think we started with Brittany originally, but we transitioned soon after we jumped on board. But it's a great experience. From like she said, the initial onset of what are your pain points? What do what are you concerned about? What do we need focus on to get going here? All the way through the training. I think it was just maybe 2 weeks ago. We held the training for the people that haven't used Outbuild yet and are starting a project that will. And we can basically reach out at any point in time for support. We have a new hire coming on board. We connect them with Brittany. They do a training. It's really like having an on staff scheduled training professional. To be honest with you, takes a little bit off my shoulders.
That's
Thank you,
great.
Eric.
Honestly, that really appreciate that. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, I think everybody's excited and ready to actually see how Upbill works. So let's go ahead and take everybody for a ride here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and bring up my Outbuild here, and just make sure that we get the thumbs up that everybody can see my screen here. All right, perfect. So when you log into Outbuild, the first thing that you're going to see again, Outbuild being a construction scheduling and planning tool that is web-based, that helps collaborate, with some communication, and also allows users to be on there and with all unlimited projects. The first thing you see is talking about unlimited projects is the portfolio view. This is a great tool for any project executives, any project managers that are senior project managers heading more than multiple, 2 or 3 projects that want to see kind of like what's going on with all projects at once. You can see your start, your duration, your progress, and your variance. Am I behind? Am I ahead? But the real key thing about this is that you're seeing this live in real time. As your crew is walking the field and they're updating their progress at the look ahead level, it's updating the activity at that point, which is then updating the project as well. And then you can also get that variance in real time. And this is a huge game changer for a lot of people because there there might be some other tools out there that can do that, where they give you that holistic view, that macro view, but I don't think that they can do it in real time. And that's really what we get feedback from on general contractors. The other thing that you can do, which is really helpful, is for those that are on the call right now that have, trades that you use, often, and they're always very eager to get jobs done, right? Um, you want to make sure that you're not bottlenecking them. And so this is a great filter to kind of see, okay, if I have Joe the electrician and he's really wanting to jump on this next project with me, am I actually utilizing him already in some other projects? I know he only has 7 staff members. I don't want to overdo it. This is a great way to see that on the pre-con stage. And I know a lot of general contractors that come to us, especially the pre-con team, raves about this feature here. So really excited to kind of see that part. I'm going to go ahead and jump into 2025 Builder Street, our project that we actually have going live. This is an actual project. It is being handled in real time, believe it or not. And so again, here's everything that you're going to need to create a master schedule. This was going to help you replace MS Project, replace P6, replace Suretrak, or Asta if you're using any of those tools right now. And as you can see, you got everything from creating activities, durations, progress, predecessors, CPM method. And the biggest thing is all those buttons that MS Project or P6 or all those other tools have that are irrelevant to construction are not there. The only thing you need is what you need here. So I'm going to go ahead and actually scroll down a little bit here, go down underneath foundation, and I want to show you how easy it is for me to just go in here and start creating some activities. If I create these activities and I start putting some durations, and let's say I put 12 on that one and 15 on this one, I can now link by clicking and dragging, finish to start. I can even do start to start. And that actually is how easy you can link these activities on the Outbuild master schedule. And if I want to actually give some lag, double click here and I can just give it 5 days. And you can see how it shifts over right off the bat. So that's one way to actually link your predecessors on your activities. The other way to do it, which I think is one of my favorite, especially pre-con, I think just talked to a general contractor earlier about this. If I want to go ahead and just link everything from start to finish, and I know I got a bunch of activities, I just go and highlight that, and then I can go ahead and click link, and it automatically links everything for me. Oh, give me a second here. I was doing it from the wrong one. There we go. So it actually will go ahead and link all of it for me from start to finish. So without having to go in there and manually do anything, and plus it also does the formula for you. So I'm going to pause for a moment there because I know I ramble on pretty fast, but just curious, Eric, like any feedback that you've gotten from your team on this kind of, ease of use with that click and drag?
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things I wanted to highlight that I failed to prior, and you just mentioned it, is this is a scheduling software built for construction, right? A lot of the other scheduling softwares that are out there are kind of meant to be universal, whether it's internal project management for software or just business practices. The sole purpose of Outbuild is construction, so it's built for that purpose and it's built around it. But the ease of use is hands down the best part of Outbuild. The ability to set predecessors and successors and connect them just by clicking and dragging, or extending a task just by sliding it back and forth, and it saves you a lot of time in doing your schedule. When you're, rather than going back and looking up task IDs and typing in, plus, adding in float and connecting through, start to start, or, finish, start, start, finish, however it is, typing those in, just being able to click and drag to the front or back of a task line was a huge time saver for us. And quite honestly, again, going back to the intuitiveness and the ease of use, one of the main reasons why we chose Outbuild.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And that's true. That is what we do get often is, the fact that they are able to create a schedule very easily on Outbuild. And so to everybody here, just so you know, you have everything here. And one of the things that I like to kind of highlight is we do have a way to create multiple baselines, because it's important to note that every time there's a change in the schedule, you want to try to track that every time and create a new baseline at that point. And so you can actually go in here, click new, and then just title it and give a comment of why you're creating that baseline. That gives you an opportunity to have that tracking and also create the baseline from where you start on that new change that happened. And one of the things that you can also do here is you have different levels of view options here, right? You can see like what Eric just talked about, floats or things like that. You can see views for just a baseline. You can change your view to show also critical path, and highlight the critical path as well. And so I'm not going to go too much into detail about the integration with Procore, but just to kind of show you all, if you all are using Procore for submittals and RFIs, when you actually update your schedule, just with the click of a button, you send the update, you have an updated schedule that's sent over to Procore. That automatically now allows you to create that submittal in Procore. And now in Outbuild, these icons to the right is indicating to you that you have some submittals that need to be taken care of. Red obviously means it's past due, and blue means it's in progress. So if I were to hit my activity card on the left of that activity, I can now go over to my submittal and I can see, okay, what is actually my approval date? What's my lead time? Am I on track here? Should I, what do I need to do? And just with the click of a button here, it'll take me straight over to my Procore account, and I can go ahead and actually see what's going on with the submittal, and so I can, attack it. And the beauty about it is all you have to do is just connect your activity when you're creating your submittal right here. And that's how you tie it in to Outbuild. So it saves a lot of time for you to not have to go back and forth and have multiple siloed systems. So I'm going to shift gears now because on the left side of over here, we have not only our schedule, we have our look ahead, we have our weekly plan, and we have our analytics tools. But to jump into the look ahead, if you notice on every activity, there's some numbers there that are being displayed. And so this is the big game changer, everyone. This is why people come to Outbuild as well, is now you can see from the master schedule what's happening with those tasks from your superintendent and from your subcontractor. So I want everybody to kind of pay attention to some of these numbers. We'll go ahead and jump over to the actual look ahead now. And there is the ability to export and import PDF, Excel, and recently we just were able to import for P6 view as well. Immediately when you open up the look ahead, you're able to see the goalpost here in dark blue of what your team is going to be able to work on and how they're going to be able to actually create those tasks. So I'm going to kind of condense here really quick just to give it a better look. But you can see now when your superintendents come in going, okay, this is the goalpost that my project manager gave me. So I know that I have this to work with so that I don't go over. So if we're going over here to foundation walls, north and south, to start actually trying to create things, just by clicking the plus sign, it's going to start creating these tasks for me. And so I'm going to shift a little bit over to the left here, bringing this window here a little bit more. And so now you can see that I created these tasks, and all I got to do is I just have to assign it to a company. And then I just click and drag what I need, and how long it's going to take. Is it, a few days or more. Just in agreeance here, everyone. I just want to make sure, like, is it a lot that you think to ask that, is it too hard to kind of just go in here, click on the plus sign and just click and drag to create that task compared to kind of how everybody else is doing it out there? Just take a moment to kind of take that in, because the first time I saw this, I was like, wow, that's pretty easy. And honestly, someone that actually doesn't create tasks, I just found it super easy. Eric, any feedback that you're getting from your superintendents and subcontractors on the ease of use of that part?
Yeah, again, I don't want to keep saying this, but this is another big reason why, what drove us to Outbuild. The prior method of doing a look ahead was extremely tedious and not connected by any means. I think I said before, we were doing it on Excel or a hand, a paper, template that we would fill in by hand and pass it around at a meeting. This gives it, the opportunity to, take any task, expand on it, take that information and send it back to the project management team for them to review and analyze. And, they can make an informed decision. Do I shift this task out based on where it is in the field? Can we make it, can we make time up? Are we going to save time? Can I pull the schedule back? Without them really having to be at the job site at that meeting. They have that insight right from their desk. Not to say we don't want our project managers going out to the job sites, but they can kind of limit their visits and kind of get a peek at where we are from productivity standpoint, just from looking at the schedule here.
Thank you. And one of the biggest challenges, everyone, that we hear often too is, we're trying to be more proactive as opposed to reactive when it comes to these to-dos or constraints or roadblocks. Here at Outbuild, we call them roadblocks, right? And the one thing about Outbuild that you're going to find is really simple to do as well is these superintendents or subcontractors can now take that little cone on the left over here, and they can create a roadblock immediately by just typing in, something and saying, inspector has not confirmed date yet, waiting on this, right? And so by assigning this to a responsible project manager, what you're doing at this point is you're now creating this in required date, and you put the required date and create it, and it sends it to that project manager at that point. So now they're going to get an email notification, and let them know that, hey, there's a roadblock here that needs to be taken care of, right? So you can now go here to the roadblock section, and you can see everything that's happening on all those roadblocks. This is now a way for you to have that conversation with the superintendents in the field and those subcontractors. Now your weekly foreman meeting turns into not having to use a whiteboard or whatever you all are using right now to kind of talk about those constraints. Instead, you bring up a nice monitor up, and you can talk about all these roadblocks that are happening. And so now you can schedule the task to, the individual activity that it belongs to. And so you can, either remove them, you can open them, just clicking here. Is it a draft? Is it removed? Is it open? And as you all can see, again, with that integration, now you can tackle that RFI, that's connected over to Procore. So just by clicking that, it'll take me straight to Procore as well. So going back to kind of the planning area here, I know a lot of times, a lot of general contractors are always hoping that, they're able to tackle these roadblocks in time, but we all know how it works in the construction industry. That's not always the case, right? We have sometimes some issues that come in, and we're not able to get ahead of them. And so at times it really delays our schedule. And so what happens is if your superintendent decides to actually go outside the allotment time that you gave them, and I move that past that goalpost here, it's going to prompt me to actually complete this little notification modification request, if you would. And from here, I can just type in why. Why am I changing this? And so with that modification request, when I do that, it sends that trigger again to that project manager. And on the actual schedule, I can go back and I can see why that superintendent is trying to modify the actual task. So if I go over here to slab and grade and I click on it, it says, need more time due to inspector never showing up. So if I go scroll down and I actually look at, what my time is here, kind of related to my critical path, everybody can see that it's in green. So I'm going to actually shift this in a little bit so we can get a better view. But if I click on that preview button now, keep your eye right here on what happens here if I preview it. That means if I accept that, now I'm seeing, okay, this is going to actually delay us 5 days here, 10 days here, and it actually affects everything else on my project as well. So now I have the option to say, you know what, I'm going to reject this, or we need to get this done, so I'm going to approve it. And if you do approve it, you have the ability to use this now as documentation and talk about that down the road. So I want to pause for a second there, Eric. I don't know, like, want to ask you, because I know a lot of general contractors have different methods to kind of keep track of that, especially with owners, because they always are trying to figure out, hey, why was this change here? What happened in this delay? How has this helped for you guys?
Well, we don't have an actual use case for that yet, but I assume it's coming. So, between that component with, modification requests being logged and the roadblocks kind of arms you with the tools to have that difficult conversation, right? How come we're 2 months over schedule? And it's like, well, we had a tough winter, and you can see, on this day it snowed, on this day we were delayed by, ice, or hey, materials are, you know, 3 to 3 weeks over what we expected, and it delayed this whole task, and it's out of our control. It's because of tariffs, it's because of COVID. All these things can become roadblocks and trackable, and then used as a reference when needed down the road. So again, that's a huge benefit to having this, because prior to that, it's lost in your meeting minutes. It's lost in emails. There's really no central spot for you to go see what those scheduled delays actually were.
Exactly. I appreciate that feedback. And one of the things that actually I heard earlier today, I was speaking to a general contractor, and one of the challenges they talked about was it's really hard for us to get commitment from our trades. And when I asked why, they said, well, we feel it's just because they don't really, one, they don't want to use MS Project, right? And so two, when we ask them to kind of create their task, or even superintendents, they're really not used to using anything but either Excel or whiteboard at that point, or a piece of paper. So the nice thing about Outbuild is you're able to have a commitment area here for them that you can hold them accountable and have these conversations with them. And that's what our weekly plan is for. So when they create these tasks, you can now actually commit. Once they've created it, they actually are committing to those tasks, and there's no way they can get around that. And now they can actually look at this and check and see what they're committing to for that week on those tasks for the 2 week, 3 week, 4 week look ahead. So it's a really nice feature to have so that you can have those conversations with your trades. One of the things I wanted to go back real quick on the look ahead that I forgot to mention, there is the ability, because I know every general contractor has different methods on the look ahead. Some do 2 weeks, some do 3 week. There is an ability here on the look ahead to be able to choose which amount you want. Are you doing 5 week? Are you doing 2 week? It automatically defaults to the 4 week because that's typically what we hear from general contractors. But you can choose what you want, and then you can also choose which activities that you want to tie them into, and you just apply filtering. You can get that done. And a lot of times, I'm asked, hey, are you able to actually print out, that schedule on the look ahead? Because a lot of times they need, subcontractors want to see it on a printout. You can easily do that in an Excel, PDF view, or GAMP view as well. And so really cool kind of features that you can actually view these things for the look ahead as well. Um, and then last but not least, because I know we're running up to our time here, just kind of going over the analytics aspect for those that are on the call that are project executives or anybody that really is interested in seeing, hey, how are we tracking right now with these projects? What are we doing? When it comes to certain commitments or variances, you have a way to see your percent plan complete. Now you can hold your team accountable and say, hey, you know what? Looks like Miles Excavator here is doing pretty well. I mean, 78% is not bad. I mean, I think the standard is probably like 60%, right? So 65%. And so when you see something like this, you can have those conversations now with your trades and your superintendents. You can also see those roadblocks. To your point, Eric, have a way to be able to track these things and see what's going on, at how they've been attacked on the roadblocks as well. But one of the biggest kind of like analytic tools that people like about Outbuild is the reasons for variance, because you're able to see what is really affecting your projects and what you need to work on for future projects. I think this is like one of the tools that everybody in Outbuild loves. You can see here weather has 17.4%. That's a pretty big one, right? And we also see off project demands. So I know for a lot of project executives, every time I show this, they love this tool because it really does give them an opportunity to understand and dig deeper and peel back that layer on that onion and see why these things are happening. So I'm not sure if you want to kind of speak on this because I know you obviously on the executive side how this has helped you, Eric. But any feedback on this particular part here?
Yeah, I think the reasons for variance is a huge benefit, not only from the project level, but a corporate level as well. Being able to hone in on, why do we have delays, and is there things we can improve on internally to make a change, right? Obviously, weather is out of your control, but equipment, material, how can we as a company help our teams or help solve the issue in general to avoid some of these delays on our future projects. So this kind of gives you a crystal ball into improving your work moving forward.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think that actually brings us to our end here of the demonstration. And so I hope everybody actually enjoyed, what we demonstrated here in Outbuild. I think there is definitely a great opportunity for a lot of general contractors out there. If you're looking to really um, facilitate, bridge that gap and help, foster that collaboration within your teams, Alex actually is going to talk to you real quick on how you can do that.
Thank you so much, all of you, Manuel and Brittany, and especially you, Eric, for that really informative overview. So, what you all see on your screen now is a QR code that if you scan it, it will take you to where you can book a more personalized demo. So, if you've got more detailed questions, and I haven't seen any questions come in through the chat, so I think probably a lot of them have been answered as we go. But if you do have any, feel free to drop them in. But if you really want to get into like a deeper conversation with Manuel, then this QR code will take you to where you can set that up with him. Or if you want to bring more of your team along so that they can see it, this would be a great way to do it. Anyone have any questions at all? I'll kind of give you a minute here if you want to drop any last minute ones in.
Yeah, we have a couple minutes left. If you all want to open it up right now and have any questions, we are happy to answer those for you.
I do want to mention also, we do have a program for our valued customers where if you are loving Outbuild and you want to spread the word, you can, sort of get rewarded for sharing your insights. So if you are a current customer that happens to be listening, please ask us about that. Or if you're potentially going to become a customer, that's something nice to know about as well. Well,
Awesome.
it's crickets in the Q&A, so Manuel, I think you did a great job addressing
I hope
all
so.
of it.
But
Thank
no,
you
I
all so much.
Yeah, I definitely want to say thank you as well, Eric, for hopping on today. I know you're a busy man, and we appreciate your time and value your partnership as well. And we're happy to continue working with you. And Brittany, thank you so much, and Alex as well.
Likewise.
Thank you all for attending.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.